Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message and it was translated by our admin, and it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? I paid to be a bishop, to be made a bishop in an apostolic church, but then there was spiritual warfare that was now happening in my life. I could have lost my life. Then I went to Zimbabwe to do your rituals, but these rituals, they have destroyed my life, my brother. I will hide my name. I am 51 years old and I live in Soweto, South Africa, and I have changed my location in the province because I do not want people to even suspect that it is me that is talking to you. People, they know me, so never make a mistake to even publish the name that is on my profile. There was no time for me to create this so-called ghost account. I am someone that is very respected in the church. I am a well-known bishop and I am a man of God. But the truth is that I have never spoken about this in my life. My life began to fall apart the day that I decided that I want to become a powerful bishop in our church. More than anything, I was a prophet of a fast growing apostolic church. It is an old church, but people now are returning to your apostolic churches because they know that you can find God there and you can be given prophecies. You are also being assisted by your traditions. In the beginning, I was happy to be serving the people, but as the years went by, things started to change. I started to see that becoming just a prophet, you are only going to work for the bishops. There was this other bishop that was staying in the same area where I was staying. So this bishop, he was a very jealous kind. What he wanted me to do was that instead of prophesying during the week when we were not at church, to do it at his house. There were people that would come to his house, then he would call me so that I can pray for them. So I would go to the bishop's house and then pray for all of these sick people. They get healed. What I did not know was that the bishop, he was getting paid some money in secret, and he did not want me to know that as a bishop he was being paid, and there were people that were bringing groceries. There was even one boy who was mad. The mother then heard about that bishop because he was marketing himself as someone that had spiritual powers, but he was depending on me. And then I started to see that money is going to him, yet I was someone that was just stuck. I was just doing a job. I was working already in the government. So I wanted to become a bishop and have more power, and to have a big congregation that will be following me, just like other bishops that I admired. And in our church, the bishops, they were driving beautiful cars each and every year. They go to a dealership, you get a brand new BMW. I wanted to also use a nice car that is for the church, and I wanted people to fear me. I wanted to reach that level. When the time came for the church to choose a new bishop, I did things that I'm not proud of. There was one amongst the people that were going to select the bishops who had their son who had recently graduated. So their son wanted a job, but in order for their son to get this job, he was supposed to go through a person like me to be able to have connections in the inside, and I was waiting for such an opportunity. I called that man and that woman to my house, and then I told them that I could give them what they wanted, and they were supposed to give me what I also wanted in return. So I gave people money, I paid people, I promised others jobs in the government. That is how I ended up becoming a bishop. But my joy, it only lasted a few months. There were things that I did not know about our church that was like really cruel. I started to see strange things. When I would pray at night, I would feel as if there were people that were standing outside of my house. When I would wake up in the morning, I would even see footsteps around my doorstep. There was even one time when we saw a plastic bag. It was half a Checkers plastic bag that was full of 5-cent coins that had been dropped at my house, and I knew what was the meaning of this. My maid, she was the one that had woken up. We had a maid that is still our maid, who is from Zim. She woke up in the morning to do her duties, and then she called my wife, and then my wife woke me up. I went outside, and then I saw that at the gate there were 5-cent coins, and these 5-cent coins, it meant that there was someone that was bewitching us, according to the maid. I just took it and I threw it in the bin, and I said that I serve a living God. I began to fear that other bishops were the ones that were sending their tokologies to me. So I then started to speak with my maid. Since my maid, she had already told us that she knew that if you find such coins at your house, there is someone that is bewitching me. I discussed with the maid. The following month, I was supposed to go to Cape Town for an event, but it was not that special. But I made it to look like it was special so that I can go. We were supposed to spend 2 weeks in Cape Town. I spoke with my maid, and I said that I was going to give her money. Already she had told me that from her village there was a sangoma that could assist me. That is how I got onto a Zimbabwean bus without a passport, and then I went with the maid in Zim in secret. I did not tell my wife. I did not even tell the church board. If I was going to die in Zim, no one was going to know where I had been taken to. Our maid, whom I called Tandi, she's the one who took me to her village. When I arrived in her village, I thought that it was going to be a quick thing. But then I was told that we had to stay. I ended up staying for more than 3 weeks in Zim. My wife, I was speaking with her. There was no problem. She had no idea, because of your WhatsApp, that this was what was happening. And I was told that I was going to be given a charm so that anyone that will be looking at me will respect me, will fear me. I wanted that charm so bad. And that evening, that was when I was placed inside a room. It was a dark room. Inside that room, there was a clay pot that was covered with a goat skin. I was told to choose the one that I wanted, and I opened it up, and I was told that I was supposed to slaughter a chicken and to put the blood of that chicken inside of that clay pot. And we returned back to South Africa. I had my clay pot inside of a Shangani bag when we returned back. When I arrived home, I immediately went into this other room where I hid that Shangani bag, and then I changed the lock on that door. My wife is not a busy person. When she is around, she does not even clean. This one, I knew that it was going to be my advantage. And when I started to return back to the church, people, they started to give so much money to me, and I was prophesying the things that were becoming real. As for Tandi, our maid, I knew that if our maid would speak, then my wife will be mad at me that I now have these things that I am using in order to maintain spiritual power at church. And my wife, here being a Christian, she will immediately leave me, and the scandal, it will destroy me in church. I will never get a good position again. So I started to pay Tandim a lot of money, increased the salary, bought her things, groceries for her mother, and I was using church money to please him. So the problem that has brought me to you, I have multiple problems really. So one day the maid came to my office at work, and she was like, "Boss, I have come here because I want a South African ID." I was like, "You can't just get a South African ID like that. I cannot do that." She then said to me, "If your wife finds out, will you be able to handle it? Can you do it?" I instantly went quiet. From that day on, she has been blackmailing me, and now she is saying that she wants to be married to my older brother, who is old. I am shocked because my old brother is already married, but Tande does not care. She says that she wants me to create a scenario whereby, in this scenario, what is going to happen is that the maid is going to get married to my brother, and then she can be able to become a South African. And from the other side, the Tokoloshis, they are also controlling me. In 2024, things changed. I started having dreams. In the dreams, I can see a person that will be walking in the bedroom. When I wake up, I see Tokoloshis, like your real Tokoloshis. They will be saying, do not go to bed because we want to discuss issues with you. The first time when I saw a Tokoloshi, I thought that maybe I was seeing things that were not even there. It was after I had woken up the previous day with my body full of pain. Then on that night, I woke up because there was someone that was like punching the bed. I turned on the light and there was no one. Then I turned off the light immediately. There was someone that was holding me. I could not move. I could not speak. There was someone that was laughing. When I saw a Tokoloshi, it was a small figure, like a small baby with a short man's body. This Tokoloshi was laughing at me. That was when I started to see that I have a problem in my house. I then went and I took that clay pot and I drove back to the village because we have a house that we do not even use back in the village. That is where I went and I hid this clay pot because it was starting to speak. My wife would wake up and she'll be like, hey, have you been talking to me? I had someone who was calling out my name. So then I spoke with this maid of ours. I asked him, what is it that I need to do? Because this thing, it is now talking to me. So then the maid went back to Zim. When she came back, she had a message and she told me that the Sangoma had said that I am supposed to look for a woman that I am supposed to sleep with. I thought that it was just a normal woman. So then I said to this maid, if it means that I have to sleep with a woman, how about I sleep with you? You already know about my secrets. She then laughed at me and she replayed the voice note that she had recorded, that Sangoma and Shona. Unfortunately, I could not hear anything, but she translated and she said that the Sangoma is laughing here because the Sangoma is saying that you are supposed to sleep with a mad woman. So that is how my journey began. When I wake up, Brother Nashim, I make a trip. I go to Pretoria. It's not every day. I have to do it sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. When I go to Pretoria, I leave so early in the morning. I can even lie to my wife that I have a church meeting, but I know where I am going. There is a certain woman who is a mad woman in Pretoria. She is mentally unstable. Sometimes I find her talking to herself, laughing at nothing. And then I go to her and I make love to him. I even hate the fact that I sleep with a mad woman. There are times when I feel like I can't do it, but I have to sleep with this mad woman. Otherwise, the Tokoloshis will beat me. This is how I sleep with him. I take this mad woman into my car and then we go to a lodge that is very secretive, far away from people, and then I go and I wash her because there are times when she is smelling. She can be smelling her armpits, so I have to wash her. After washing her, then I have to sleep with him, and once I do this, I can feel that the Tokoloshim has been satisfied. I can even go to church after I would have slept with this mad woman without even washing my body. I go to church to even give a sermon. There is another thing that I do. I have to keep like a dead chicken, and after I would have kept this dead chicken in one of this other room, I have a small freezer that I bought, those portable ones. I bought one like that, and I just slaughter a chicken. I don't remove the feathers. I leave it like that. When it is time, I then drive to the villages where I go, and then I leave that chicken with the feathers and everything inside of that room. What eats this chicken, I do not even know. I keep on sacrificing and slaughtering And I have been told by voices that speak to me, these voices, they say that if you stop sleeping with this mad woman, then you are going to sacrifice someone who stays inside of your house. And when it happened, it was so scary. So this is where I am right now. I am crying for help and I am asking for mercy. If you know any Sangoma who comes from Zim side, a Sangoma that you know to be very powerful, who can come and collect this clay pot from my hands and go with it back home. And I also want advice. How exactly am I supposed to deal with the maid, considering the fact that my maid, she is the one that knows a lot about all of these secrets that I have been doing. She can destroy me, and the fact that she is pressurizing me to help her to get a South African ID, even though we never agreed upon this, but she is blackmailing me because of the things that I know, of the things that she knows about me. When you post my story, please just tell me. I wish I knew before I had gone to Zim that there is terrible muti there. I should have never gone to Zim. I am a bishop now, but I am stuck with a Togoloshi that loves mad woman. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo, I'll be back with another episode. If you know anyone who can assist our dear brother, you can comment in the comment section, or you can come to my inbox and then you share with us your own side of the story. I will be back with another episode.